wear my hair down to my back, or I cut a bob and do it into single plaits. And if it's the summertime, maybe do a weave. Always change my style depending where my head is at.
Hello, welcome to Mad Beings Podcast. A new week, a new episode. And today we have an emotional topic. I have Sayibu. Sayibu is you're an American, right?
Yeah.
And a Ghanaian too.
Yeah.
True. And today's topic, I want to learn a lot. I've been reading a lot about racial crimes, racial injustice in America. I watch documentaries and all that. And I'm torn in between. Sometimes I love to side with my people. I feel they are being treated unfairly. At that times, I also feel they have to stand up and also take responsibility. So Sayibu is here. He has been there for years. He understands the system. He has been with the system. Sayibu, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So today's topic, is it time for Black Americans to come back to Africa? That's our topic for today, because most time I feel, okay, if these people didn't treat you well, come back to Africa. Come and settle. You can make things happen here too. So Sayibu, with the widespread of violence and non-violence demonstrations across all states in America, is it the last straw that gets the government amending laws to halt institutionalized biases?
I believe so. Actually, that has already happened, by the way, what you just said. Minneapolis already banned the chokehold effectively, I think, last week. And there's been other states that I don't recall right now, but I think one or two other ones have followed suit. There's been legislation that has been introduced by people that are focusing on these issues. So yeah, I think that is happening is because, finally these people are losing money. Finally, the people that needed to be affected got affected.
Okay.
You get it?
Okay.
People started seeing, my business is getting attacked. But not just that. When you feel about that rage, people also started putting themselves in the shoes of African Americans. Some that's the allies, as you would call them. And seeing that, hey man, what if it was white people that was being killed all over the place? How would we feel about it?
Yeah.
You get it? How we just feel that it's a normal thing for us to be seen on TV. And they got enraged as well, because they're like, just thinking about it happening to my kid or myself or whatever, it's angry. It's aggravating.
Yeah, true.
You get it? So I'm beginning to see what these people may be going through. Sure, it's sad that things have to get to a certain level for some people to wake up to these things. But that awakening was something that was needed,
So how dangerous is it to live in America as a black person? You have been there. How dangerous?
It is the most, let me preface this by saying I've lived here and I've lived there, right? So things I never had to worry about when I was living in Ghana. Like I can cross the road at any point. I can actually walk anywhere I want.
True.
If I want, I can get up right now. If I want to, I can walk from here to Beck's house back at Airport Hills, right? And no one will stop me and ask me anything, because no one will even give me mind, because I'm just another person walking around. My first interaction with what it means to be black in America was in Beloit, Wisconsin. I was walking down there was a highway, and I was living in somewhere called Roadway Inn. And I was walking down to this restaurant called Beloit, Wisconsin. What's it called? Atlanta Bread Beloit. My uncle owned it. So I was living there, and I used to work there a little bit, just, when I was visiting. So I'm walking from there to work. And it's a bit of a stretch, for walking, but it's not anything crazy. And on the way, a car pulls up next to me. Where am I going? And I said, I'm going to work. Where? And I told him a whole bunch of questions, like why, why don't I have a car? Why am I walking to work? These type of questions. And at that time, I still didn't have what I call the fear of police that black people will develop eventually. Yeah. So I'm kind of still the way I'm in Ghana, you kind of have the freedom to just be like, what? Like, why does that? What's your issue with that, right? Yeah. And this dude fucking put his hand on his gun, right? I was like, oh, and then I shut the fuck up right after that. Because, again, we do react differently to certain things as Africans and African Americans. So for me, him putting his hand there, I was like, let me shut the fuck up right now. Yeah. So, yeah. But that was my first kind of insight into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as life goes on, the rest become normal.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you're driving and you and police lock eyes, they'll do a U-turn and stop you. Like, for no reason, and try to find something about. So if there's nothing to find, they just say, all right, have a good night, you know.
But this doesn't happen to other races.
Not all the time. Again, other races need to, like, have some obviously suspicious things going on to be pulled over, right? Like, oh, your broken tail light. And even that, they don't die when they get pulled over for those type of things. They get taken in if they need to be taken in. Even if they are violent, even if they are chased down with helicopters and all that, they still do not get killed.
I watched a video this morning on Facebook and I saw a white guy struggling with the police.
Yes.
And he wasn't shot.
No, exactly. Because they do not think that of themselves. Even while the person is doing it. You get it?
Yeah.
That is also why they have this sort of, I feel like, you know, they understate the fact that, sure, there's a lot more of that type of, they have a lot more violent urges that has been recorded, like, you know, with people being serial killers and stuff like that. You get it?
Yeah.
But they rather always feel like Africans and everybody else is the crazy, savage ones. You get it?
Yeah, I get
like,
it.
you can be unarmed and they'll feel more threatened than an armed white person. They will not feel threatened by an armed white person, and still they'll find a way to take the person down without hurting the person.
It is crazy.
You get it?
Yeah, I get you.
And this is not, I just want to add that this is not something where it's like, oh, it's just one instance. This is something that has been recorded since black people have existed, while police also existed.
Yeah.
And people don't realize the police was actually, you know, an evolution of the KKK patrols who used to patrol to catch black people and all that type of stuff. That was the evolution of that.
police.
Yes, into what became what is the police force sort of now, right? Like the idea of it.
So their roots are even
The roots
racist.
are, yeah, it's from racist roots. It is where this is coming from. Because back in the day, they used to have the system where, you know, they had like the sheriffs. Yeah. So that means there was a lot more, like, different counties have and it's still there. But they also now have police department that sort of work with them. You know, some just have the sheriff's department, which again, they're supposed to be independent, but they still have the same culture. It is not like back in the day where it was actually honorable people from the neighborhood that everybody agrees this person is a solid person. Yeah. That they select and elect as their sheriff, and he deputizes other people he feels can, you know, he trusts. No, now it's more of a system. Like, you have to apply and all that. So because of that, they can sift through and make sure it's very few black people you get it. So it's the system.
I get
the system.
Did Obama's administration do much to resolve issues confronting black Americans when it comes to equal rights and justice? Because we have arguments that, okay, we had a black guy in the White House, and he was supposed to be the front guy to change most things before he leaves office. Right. But we didn't see much from Obama.
Yeah, because Obama doesn't have the power that people think he has. The president doesn't have as much. And again, remember, this is still a black guy who will be trying to convince a bunch of white people to move certain things in a certain way. This is a black guy being opposed by the entire Republican Party because they are never going to side with him to let him do anything that will ever pass. So they actually always made everything more difficult for him whenever he tries to do something. You get it? Yeah. And the annoying thing is, the Democrats also do the same thing when they are in power. So you realize it's a game to them. So and it's real to us.
So the two parties, the Democrats that the black people feel they are more in tune with them, with their policies, don't even really care.
Yeah, like they say they do, and they do sort of push some of our agendas, but the thing is, they are not as aggressive about our issues as they are about their own issues. You get it? I get you. Like, when it's an issue that affects both, like when it's a universal issue, let me put it that way, like LGBT rights, that gets solved very quickly. I mean, when I say very quickly, in comparison to what race is like our issue, for police brutality and stuff. Yeah. in comparison to that, of, you know, rules that are being put in place to ensure that doesn't happen. You get it?
Yeah.
Because it's something that it's all about empathy. If we can empathize with each other, we're able to fight more together. And I think that is actually why this time things are changing, because finally the entire world is empathizing with each other.
Yeah.
Everybody is like, listen, even if I don't know about, you know, police brutality on black people or whatever, I have seen a man being killed, and the people that are supposed to be protecting him were standing there not doing anything about it.
True.
And I don't agree with that. And that is really why everybody's rising up. They're like, yo, because the internet, thankfully, has made us a global community now.
Yeah, true.
In a way, some people's best friends are on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or Instagram or something, and they've never met.
True.
You get it?
True.
But they see them as just a person. So when that person is in pain,
you also feel it.
Back in Argentina, the other person is like, yo, I feel your pain because you're my friend.
Yeah.
And if it's happening to people that look like you, I'm scared because my friend looks like that.
True.
Because my brother looks like that. Because my cousin looks like that. Because, you know, interracial marriages and stuff. You get it? When it becomes important to you, it becomes important to everybody.
Very true.
You get it?
Very true. So is there a Trump factor undermining the progress of this whole
Absolutely. No, actually, I think that
equal rights and justice?
Not at all. In fact, I think that he is, in a way, he's in fact helping to expose everything because he's so blatant about it.
Trump.
Yes. So you can't deny the guy is racist. Look, the guy is trying to do a rally in Tulsa on June 19th. Think about that for a minute. Do you know what that is? Do you know what the significance of Tulsa is?
No, tell me.
That was the Black Wall Street. When black people had a community that was growing, they had their own...
Where they were killed.
They were all murdered by white people because they were prosperous. That was their crime. And he wants to go there on the day... Juneteenth is a day that black people celebrate because it was the final day that, you know, slavery was abolished in the country. So even Twitter has made it a holiday for their workers now. And he wants to go on that holiday and have a rally with people he knows are going to be in a place he knows is going to be filled with racists. In a country where racists kill, you know, African Americans.
So indirectly, he's ridiculing them.
Yes. But in a way, he's like, but that is so blatant and in everybody's face. So even the moderate Republicans, they're shifting back because they're looking at, yo, okay, this is extreme. You are really just saying, yo, I'm racist.
I'm racist. You're not hiding it.
You're not hiding it at all. You get it. So let him keep doing that kind of stuff. It'll wake more people up.
I get you. So let's dig into the minds of the white extremists.
Right.
Why do they hate black Americans?
That's the question I would say you should ask a white extremist, because I will never be able to have an answer for such drivel. Like, it's stupidity. So I wouldn't be able to understand why a person would be able to hate somebody for just what they look like. It's weird.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of weird. Maybe I believe it could. Honestly, no, I don't think it's a disease. It's just evil. Because if you say it's a disease, they're all going to claim it and say, "Oh, it's not my fault. I'm sick." You get it? You're not sick. You're just stupid.
Yeah.
They're less developed. That's really what it is. It's less developed brains. They don't understand. Like, think about it. Like when somebody who they don't like blue things, they're sick. There's a problem. When they see blue things, they get angry. It's weird. So maybe when I get you. They have issues.
I get you.
But not the one that you can cure, because this is installed issues. This is cultural issues that they can change.
They can change.
You
Yeah,
get it?
True. Police brutality, racial crimes against black people have existed for centuries now. We have had civil rights fighters like Martin Luther King Jr., who had a philosophy of fighting hate with love. We also had Malcolm X, who argued that violence births violence. So which of these philosophies should we adapt now that we are all rising to fight?
Which of them has attracted attention?
I think Malcolm is right now. People want to
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking you, just as another human being.
I think Malcolm's,
to look at it on face value.
Yeah.
Which of them has gotten results?
Malcolm's one is getting.
And where
results.
did the other guy's policy end him?
Also, he was killed.
Exactly.
Luther King was
But
killed.
don't get me wrong. I respect and love the man for that, because that's also a black man. That we don't like unnecessary violence. It's a good testament to the fake stereotype they have about us.
Yeah, that we are all violent, but
get it?
we can also be peaceful.
Exactly. But X was an exemplification of rage. The man himself may not have been, maybe when he was red, but when he became, when he switched to Malcolm or whatever, I'll get back on that information. But when he switched his personal identity to become, a Muslim and all this, he was not still for it, but he was still angry. He would still talk about things that he felt that were the ways that we should go and that our anger should lead. Because you should be angry. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, remember what it took from you. Always remember that. Like, whenever you're kind of wondering why you should actually care, remember that, look, the systems that got our brothers and sisters in America, okay, is also the reason why we haven't gone anywhere on this continent, on this planet.
Yeah.
Because they came and ravaged us. They took everything from us. We don't have an identity. They gave us our identity. Africa is not the name that we used to call this place. That's a Greek, Latin makeup. It's not for us. And it's a descriptor. Land of darkness and horror. Not a good descriptor at that.
Yeah, true.
You get it? And we claim it. We're like, we're so African. Yeah. Oh, really? Are we? Is that who we were before they took it from us? Do we understand what has been taken? That's really the question we should keep asking ourselves. Do you truly understand what was taken?
Yeah.
Because do we need to be like the Native Americans to understand what was taken? Actually, it's stupid for us to call them Native Americans. They are the Americans. Do you see what they did to the real Americans? Now they live in reservations. Do you understand what that is? It means you're going extinct. This is a race of human beings. People need to think about this for them. This is what they did. This is the same people. The same systems. Humans going extinct because they were killed by other humans, another race of humans, man.
Sayibu, so this is posted down. They plan like ahead of how they can commit serious evil to Black Americans.
No, people think that's what it is. It's not. Actually, they only plan about what will work for white people. That's it. It's not like, I don't think it comes from a place of, how can we be sinister? No. In this world, how can we help ourselves? And that's why everything works out for people with that color. You get it?
So before our conversation, you even said that people like Jay-Z can become...
Yeah, they can't do a lot of things because there is bureaucracy and dogma that will prevent... If Jay-Z wanted to get up right now and go and fix the entire problem at Flint, he has the money to do it, but he can't do it because there will be red tape that will prevent him from doing that. So they can only donate. People always kind of think about these big guys and think, not all of them, but I think some of them actually have things that they want to do, but there's paperwork and stuff that's preventing them. But yet, our brother, who is also a South African but white, Elon Musk, he keeps doing whatever the hell he wants with his money.
Yeah, true.
He's able to do whatever he wants. If Jay-Z wanted to get into a space program and stuff, do you think they will allow him? Do you think he will really be able to do that? First of all, they'll ridicule the idea. They say, what's a rapper trying to
black
get
person
into?
Go to space.
Go to space for what? You get what I'm saying? Even the idea is ridiculous to some circles.
And even our community, to some it will be ridiculous.
Yes, to some it will be ridiculous. So now we have to follow Jay-Z to space. Jay-Z of all people. You get it?
Yeah. They're programming this stuff.
Yes.
But
Elon Musk from fucking, excuse my friend, PayPal, who was going bald, can get up and say, I'm going to do this, Tesla, whatever. And everybody be like, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Jay-Z did Tidal. Nobody wanted to support the guy. But you guys are all on Spotify and Apple and all that.
Yeah.
Because who did it? And who told you that was the best one?
Yeah, this is deep. So can we wholesomely blame white Americans for all Black Americans' predicament when it comes to when in most Black American communities there are a lot of gang-related crimes on the daily? When do we start sharing the blame to? Okay,
pause and let me, first of all, we are not blaming all white Americans for Black people's problems. We are blaming all white systems for Black America's problems. White people are just in there enjoying that system. So it doesn't make them inherently evil. But some of those in that system actually understand the system and want it to stay that way. Those are the ones we are fighting. Not every white person.
The system.
Yes, it's the system. Now, you talk about gang-related issues. When are we going to also take the blame for whenever a white person kills 30 women and then becomes a big guy and they make a movie about him like he's some fucking celebrity? The fuck are we talking about? Imagine if you made a movie like that about a gangster in New York who killed like 10 cops. They'll tell you are inciting racial violence. But it's fine for Ted Bundy to have several movies and TV shows about him. He's a fucking vile killer. But they big it up and make it like it's something special for you to look at. You know, sick specimen of life, like in nothing. And yet it's a pop cultural icon in America. So don't ask me about racial gang killings. We haven't even gotten to we don't glorify that shit. We talk about it. We say in our music we are glorifying it. No, we're taking the pain and turning it into something that we can at least benefit a little bit from, at least. Since you want to do this to us, at least we're going to use that story to also feed our family. What is fucking wrong with that? When we were on the plantation, that's what they used to do. When they used to help them go forward. They call Negro spirituals. You hear them singing Sweet Home, Sweet Chariot, coming for to carry me home. They're talking about Africa. They're not talking about heaven.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah. So Sayibu, you have been in America.
Yeah.
Are Black Americans willing to come back to Africa and settle? Or
they used to.
Or they feel America is indebted to them because their ancestors helped in building a nation, so they deserve to be there. Or they want to come back home. Or they want to stay.
There's two ways you can look at it. And I will not agree with any African American on any way they choose to look at it. Because they went through that. There's a section of them who say, yes, we want to go home. And I agree. Because they used to sing about it all the time on the plantation. You've always wanted to come back. So do so. But also I do think these people, the other people who want to stay in America, they deserve to stay there. Because they never asked to come there. You brought them there. You get it?
Yeah.
So you have to give them everything they also want if they want to stay there. And if they want to come back home, they should have the right to do whatever they want. That is where we want to be. They want to comfortably do whatever they want. The same way a white person can get up and go to Tokyo and go and live there whenever they want. That's where we want to get to.
Yeah.
And people not look down on us. People not turn down our visas.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
That is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
When a white person is coming here, all he has to do is pay $160 to come to us and come and enjoy all this beauty. When you're going to that concrete jungle, as Bob Marley put it, you have to go through years of bullshit. Rejections and all that shit before you get in there. To get my citizenship, I have to put my life on the line for that country to show that, oh, I deserve to be an American. And yet they can just get up $160. They're here. You know?
Yeah.
So it's the system, man.
Last year, the government of Ghana initiated a program dubbed the Year of Return to welcome our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. Is it the way to go in convincing our brothers and sisters to return home and settle?
Yeah, it's those, like I said, those who see a viability in that. Because I don't feel like we need to push a narrative that there's one solution for what a Black American or an African or a Black person should be. A Black person can aspire to American ideals, but we want him to have the privilege and all the rights that every American has.
Yeah.
And a Black person can get up and say, I want to go back to my indigenous roots. And they need to have the ability to be able to do that. Because in the States, that's what happens. How many white people do we have here who have come to open companies? Because they took a little bit of seed money from there and they were able to do it. A Black person doesn't have those opportunities in America. That's what the fight is about. You know, is those type of things. No one is asking you to even love us. To be honest, fuck off. Really. If you really don't care about us, fine, fuck you. But so long as we come to the fucking job and you're going to choose the best and I'm the fucking best and you're going to choose me, cool. I don't need to fucking like you. So it's not about love. That's not what this is about. It's not about whether we love you, because of course we love our white friends. Some of us have married white women. Some white men have married black women. All that. What are we talking about? It's not about love. Those who want to love each other are loving each other. That's not a conversation. It's not about that. It's never been about that.
Oh.
Because everything else is opinions.
Yeah.
Black women saying, "Oh, we don't like when we see a black man with black woman, and it makes us feel some way." Sure, I feel your pain, but that is your opinion, and that's fine. You're allowed, because he's allowed to love who he wants to love.
Yeah.
And you are allowed to love who you want to love, and you're also allowed to hate what you want to hate. But we all deserve the same opportunities. Period.
Yeah.
So that we can be who we want to be. You get it?
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I get it.
I don't think anything should shackle anybody, so long as it's not something that is against our collective moral. And there is a collective moral. We know what's right. What's right is right. We know it.
I get you. I've read stuff on racial injustice. I've watched documentaries. But speaking to you, it feels different. You have been there.
Sure.
So no matter how I read or research on things like this, subjects like this, I wouldn't really understand than coming in touch with somebody who has been there, felt it and all that.
Right.
Speaking to you, I've understood stuff now. It's changing my perception about the whole fight. And,
Right.
and thanks for coming. So before we
Appreciate
go,
that.
your closing remarks.
I'll say, just the way you found out that speaking with people is able to give you perspective. I implore everybody, when you don't understand something, find somebody who might have been in that thing and have a real conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions. Listen to the answers. See if you can empathize. Because there's something that us Africans take for granted, those of us who grew up here. And we need to acknowledge that if we're going to be able to help our brothers and sisters out there. That is black privilege that we have. We don't realize we do, but we do. We grew up in a society where, remember in the beginning, I said that I couldn't walk to work.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't walk to work without a policeman stopping me and asking me. When have you ever been stopped in Ghana here for just walking? Unless you were doing something weird.
Yeah,
or
true.
carrying some weird stuff, or something smells funny.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
We have our issues, but we have that privilege of true freedom to be you. Like you are yourself. You're not molded by some system.
Yeah, true.
Like when you meet an Ewe person, you feel the culture. It's imbued in the person.
Yeah.
When you meet a Northerner, you feel it.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. And you still see the person, but you also see this beautiful culture about them, like where they're from. Everything about them tells you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, African Americans don't have that luxury. They don't even know who, they took away what they have to go through DNA, and all they can tell them is, you are from somewhere in Ghana. Or they can say, hey, your race is Akan, but you don't know your family.
Don't know family, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, we need to understand that. That is also why sometimes we find ourselves agreeing with the white people. You get it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you are assuming that a criminal, because here, criminals do very crazy shit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The people when we say criminal in Africa, we're talking murderer, armed robber, rapist.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Blue collar crime, we don't mind. Like somebody scamming people, like Namwan. He even becomes kind of famous and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
true.
white people shit. That's white people shit. We are experiencing white people shit.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we are still down, but we have the luxury of freedom. What Kwame Nkrumah and all of them fought for. That is what they wanted. They wanted us to be able to have this. So we can have this conversation.
It makes so much sense now to me. It makes so much sense.
You understand?
Yeah.
So because it's your perception. That's the same thing. White person from their neighborhood, when they think of criminal, they're thinking that crazy shit. You get it? But they don't realize, you're going to get cigarettes, selling, cigarettes on the road or whatever, going to get Skittles. Like this boy was going to get something to eat. Like just snack, walking to get a snack. Think about this, bro. When have you ever been stopped when you were going to buy Kilewele? When? When did someone tell you, oh, I saw you holding Kilewele and I thought you were going to kill me with that Kilewele? When? Understand your privilege. Sure, acknowledge your struggles, but understand your privilege. This is the thing that all our forefathers were fighting for. So they gave us that, and we have to use that freedom to fight for the rest. It's our responsibility because we were part of the issue at one point. They stole some, but we sold some. So it's our responsibility. Yes, Antoine and them fought to prevent it, but there were some people who undermined that to allow the white people to ravage us the way they did. So we have to take responsibility for all that and say, yo, we are better than those people, and today we're going to fight for you. Because we're Africa. Because once we come back home, we'll figure out one day we want to give ourselves and discard this bullshit that they've put on us. But for now, that's who we are. We'll own it the same way like what they did with the word nigger. You get it?
Yeah.
They took it and did something with it. And they hate us for that. They always hate us for that. That's why they hate hip-hop. Because it's just sort of exposing some of the things that they were going to in their neighborhoods. So the people in the white collar, those other neighborhoods, they listen to that and it sounds like a horror story. You get it? You also sitting here in Ghana, what gang is here? Think about it. What gang is over here? What bloods are in Ghana? Who is shooting up who? All these people on when they're on music talking poof poof, all this nonsense, none of them has done shit. None of them. Nobody has shot anybody.
True.
Nobody has actually experienced real gang shit. This ape shit, bro. They're aping shit. It's nothing. These people back there, it's real. When Kendrick and them are talking about it, it's real. He probably knows a real person that he may have been sitting next to like you and I, and that person was shot. Wow. Do you understand that? So we have to acknowledge that. Understand that, sure, there's so many things going on, but in solidarity, based on our history, we have to collectively figure each other out. But first, we have to help our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Yeah. That is what, when you hear Africans talking about Black Lives Matter and all, that is what that is about. We're taking responsibility for our brothers. We're with you. We want to come for you. And we're going to use the system to make that possible for you. And then we will figure out who is black when we are together. You understand?
Yeah.
And that is the thing that scares. Because there's a rising coming. And that is very terrifying. Because if we get our shit together, where do they go for every resource? And we say, nah, fuck everybody. Don't keep yours, we're gonna develop ourselves. They're gonna start wars if we start doing that.
Yeah.
They'll try to bully us. This is why we have to come together and rise for real. Because if not, the next wave, we're not going to survive it. Remember the real Americans, remember where they are today. That is what your fate can be if you just keep sitting down and allowing the system to fuck us. That is our fate, because it has happened. Don't let anyone try to meander the conversation. This was an extermination of a human race.
Yeah.
This is what apparently Hitler's plans was for us. You get it?
Yeah. Sayibu, thanks for coming. I've been enlightened. In my whole life, on this particular conversation has changed a lot about my perception and knowledge on racial injustice and crime and all that. And I really appreciate it, your passion and all that. I also know that I have friends who agree on the same tangent. Most time they argue and we go like, oh, we should also take responsibility, blah, blah. They're going to listen to this podcast, and I'm hopeful that also change their mindset. Yeah. So now let's all wake up. The little medium we have, let's champion this whole fight for Black lives.
Yes.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Thank you for listening. God willing, next week, another topic, same time. Bye.
Where my head is at. Sometimes I wear my V-neck real low. If I'm feeling sexy, then expect some skin will show. Maybe wear a turtleneck if I'm feeling cold. My dressing is expression, so don't judge me by my clothes. Some days I roll up in a hood and a trackie.